everybody. I was having a little technical issue there. So welcome today. I haven't seen you guys in a couple of days. So today's message is going to be about forgiving others and loving your enemy. So the Lord said, tie it all together. And so I said, okay, Lord, how do I tie this all together? So the story is that we all know that loving our neighbor is important. That's one of the first commandments. And, forgiving others, right? So forgiving others is important, and loving your enemies. So without any of those things, you can't love your enemies, right? You can't love your enemies if you don't forgive someone, and you can't love your enemies. You don't love your neighbor. How are you going to forgive someone? And how are you going to love your enemies, right? So we all know who our enemies are. We all know that enemies can be little enemies or they can be big enemies. It doesn't make a difference. God requires us as Christians to forgive our enemies. So the Lord knew that he had enemies, and he knew when he was going to be, when he was going to die. He knew that, and he knew who was going to do it too. He knew that Judas was going to do it, even though he gave him the opportunity to not do it and to confess. So he knew that. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. So God knows all of these things. But the reason why God wants us to forgive is because, and he wants us to love our enemies, is because it is a testimony, right? So not only just for us, but it's for a testimony. Because a non-believer, if they can see that you can forgive a person or that you can love your enemies, then they think, how does that person do that? They must have a God. Who is that God that gives them, the spirit to be able to forgive a person who did that to them? So that is the reason why God requires that we love our enemies and that we forgive, right? So that's what he wanted me to talk about today. I wanted to talk about the Bible and how the Bible is living. The Bible is living. The other night I was reading my Bible, and so the Lord wanted me to get into worship and praise with him. And it was very late at night, and I put my hand on the Bible,